With Trump's inauguration just 8 weeks away, now is the time to turn your anger and anguish into action. Hi, I'm Sam Goldman, host of the Refuse-Fascism podcast, calling on you to power mass opposition and resistance to Trump's MAGA fascism by donating to Refuse Fascism today. The stakes couldn't be higher. With the backing of a fully fascist GOP and immunity in advance from the Supreme Court, Trump will return to the White House to unleash revenge on his real and perceived enemies and to carry out a fascist program of ethnic cleansing through mass deportations, overt white supremacy, and misogynist domination, supported by a mob of tens of millions salivating over the promise of retribution. Millions are depending on us, what we do or fail to do, what we normalize, and what we put our bodies on the line to reject will shape the future. Each week for 4 years and counting, you've been able to count on our volunteer podcast team to expose, oppose, and analyze the very real danger and threat of fascism coming to power in the United States. And with Trump returning to the White House, I know you can agree that the urgency of our podcast mission and community is dramatically heightened. But let me tell you, we can't do this work alone. We need you with us. I've had the honor of connecting you with over 200 experts and activists from a variety of backgrounds and perspectives to arm us with understanding to wage this fight for the future. Forging meaningful community with guests and listeners grounded in our shared determination that in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. One of the biggest things our network of listeners tells us is that first, they appreciate my honesty, righteous rage, and critical lens. And secondly, that more people need to hear this podcast. One of the biggest lessons I've come away with is the urgency of breaking people out of the mental shackles that keep people passive, relying on the same institutions and politics as usual that led us here to this nightmare. Every word of this podcast is informed both by a deep study of the roots, nature, and dynamics of fascism, and by our team's personal experience of leading tens of thousands into the streets in efforts to drive out the Trump-Pence regime through sustained nonviolent protests, in addition to years of organizing against the war on terror, against police brutality, for abortion rights, and more. Whether it's tackling Trump's Revengers cabinet, exposing the reasons behind Democratic Party's enabling and accommodation, or defending the rights of people under attack. We're here to speak the truth boldly and empower you to act on it. But to keep this work going and growing at this urgent hour, we need your help. Every donation, no matter the size, makes a difference in building the understanding and mass action we need. Now is the time to defy, disobey, disrupt. I hope you'll join us in this fight to stop a regime that imperils humanity and the earth itself. Donate to Refuse Fascism today.